Coming up, it's a summer of style as top designers and their creations hit the catwalk with a Caribbean twist. The World Cup has rolled into town with on-field excitement and beyond-the-boundary thrills in Trinidad and Tobago. Getting married? Honeymooning? Barbados is your top option for an eventful experience. It's Caribbean Passport, right here on this station.
Thursday afternoon in a 60 zone. This 34-year-old motorcyclist was on his way home. It's our job to work out why he never got there. The rider broke his neck on impact here, having crashed into this car that was turning right. By analysing the impact, we know he hit the car at 30 kilometres per hour. And these marks on the road tell us that he skidded for 21 metres, having braked hard here. When he first reacted, he was doing 68. But let's change one small thing. At 60, the driver would have had more chance to see him properly. He'd have stayed in control and reached this point a moment later. The car would have cleared his path and he'd be home by now. You decide on your speed. The physics decides whether you live or die.
Well, a wonderful good morning to you, Grenada, could be rest of the Eastern Caribbean to you, wherever you are. We say thanks for being part of this morning's conversation. It's your boy, JC. It's a wonderful, glorious, Monday morning. It's the first working day of the month of June for some, and I know for good those of you that's waking up with the sound of classic and GBN television in the morning time. It's a glorious experience. This morning I want to say thanks. Well, first apologize for your absence of Gordon, but I say with every short end of things that happens in life, it provides us with a glorious opportunity that I can wake up with one of the most wonderful persons I could possibly think. No, sorry, that sounds wrong. Not wake up with. And you sitting there smiling.
I was just about to correct you.
Good morning, Grenada. Good morning, Jan.
Good morning to you, Joseph, and good morning to all our listeners and our viewers in Grenada, in the diaspora, wherever you are. I mean, it's really fantastic to be. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
It's been a while
we get to do this in the morning.
Early morning run, but it's a great feeling to be up early. As you say, it's a brand new month. It's a brand new week. Somebody just told me to keep it productive. I'm going to share that with you as well. It's a lot to look forward to, Joseph.
A lot to look forward to. Productivity must be the order of the day, and wherever you are, those of you, whatever field or scope of life that you're in, just ensure that you give it your best shot that you possibly can. Think about giving it your best shot, Jan. You have probably some children that are probably still wrapping up from their CXC exams.
Yeah.
We say kudos to you. Make sure you stay focused, and we say good morning to those at the secondary level that's getting into promotional exams for whether it's Form 2 or the other forms. It's important, Jenny, that as a parent, that when you wake up, you give your children the opportunity to turbocharge their day. Make sure they have the right breakfast. Left this morning, Jaden.
The words of affirmation. I keep saying it's so important for yourself and for your children as well. Wake up on something positive. Sometimes I find as parents, we tend to hone in on the negative too much. Give them a positive start to their day, and it's going to impact how them throughout the day and how they perform, how they interact with others. It's important that you as a parent set the tone for and they face a lot,
They do face a lot.
They face a lot, and sometimes they don't communicate with us as parents. They communicate amongst themselves. It's important to try to get it on their conversations to see where they are. And you'd be surprised sometimes what you think they don't know, they are versed in.
Are fully aware.
It's great to communicate. It's important to communicate, and we should always, stay abreast as to what's happening with them and try as best to get to their level, talk to them and their friends and see what's happening in the class. at that stage, you probably think all you have to do is wake up and get ready for school. You have no problems. You'll be surprised.
And then there's always...
I was surprised when I found out the amount of challenges they have to deal with. Sometimes, like my daughter, she's get a little hesitant to go to school, and there's peer pressure, sometimes a little bullying, something to deal with. And to them, it's a big deal.
And we sometimes think that these kids, they don't have pressure to deal with.
No, they do.
And I think the challenge is, how do you go through the rigors of every morning? A child knows he or she has to go to school. They have to wake up. And yet you have to tell them, wake up, go bathe. Child, look at the time. You're going to be late. And it just seems as though they cannot be bothered. Yeah. The truth is, they are children. They are just going to be children. Us as adults at times, we sometimes can't quite seem to get it right at times.
We're getting impatient. We probably quarrel with them, not understanding the issues that they are dealing with. So that communication is important, to keep the lines open.
Keep it open.
Talk to them as much as possible and be patient, folks. I know it's easy to, you just probably pelt something if you're not getting through as you'd like to. But it's important to be patient with them and try your best to hear them out.
As you said, pelt, I saw there was a little video on social media, and it had a broom, pot spoon, slippers, and it was asking which one was your mother's go-to weapon of choice when you miss. I know what it said, her weapon of choice when you misbehave. You had to pick. I think most of us had.
And the overwhelming response was all of the above.
But times have changed, and indeed, while times have changed, what has not changed though, it is pretty hot on the outside.
It is.
It is really, really hot on the outside. I want to encourage you to stay hydrated as best as you can.
We're getting a couple sprinkles.
Correct.
Off and on.
Yes.
Off and on, which I don't know. I see the Matson. It's not trickling down in the pipes just yet. I suppose the dams were in a state. Maybe we're using the water. I don't know. We're cleaning the dams or something. But we've started getting a few drops. Hopefully, it's going to trickle down into our pipes soon.
Hopefully.
Yeah. The bucket bathing would end.
Sorry, you're on your own to that. Fortunately, for me in Springs, I've never had that issue.
Really?
I don't have that problem in Springs.
Okay, I need to make a few calls.
Yeah, the water pressure sometimes obviously is lower than normal, but bucket bathing, you're on your own.
I was commenting earlier that there was some equity in the distribution this year. Normally, my area is one severely impacted, but I saw areas that weren't before this year. They were complaining, so I was like, things are changing. But so we need to fix the Springs area.
Well, I say,
make sure we have a schedule. Jams, good morning. That's Mr. Lewis at Nawa. So you need to institute some timelines on the pipes.
Jams, just remember, I love you. The love has to come for something. But either way, folks, it is really, really, really a glorious opportunity to be up with you in the morning time. I keep saying every new day, Jan, is a new opportunity. If you think of it that way, yesterday's all gone. Today, I say, is the present, is the gift of life. Let's wake up and cherish the opportunity to be alive on this, the third day of the month of June. June, there's a lot of significance to it, and we get some more details in the news. The Atlantic hurricane season kicks into full gear officially. June is also Teachers Month, big celebration, and the GUT celebration 111 years.
It's a milestone.
It is a milestone, and the president says the celebration is going to be mega. It is good. Very often we sort of slide the role and the path that teachers play in our lives.
We do. We don't. It's a significant role, and it cannot be ever overstated.
And I keep saying we only pay attention to it to those at, let's say, the secondary or the tertiary level, but we tend to marginalize the preschool, those formative years, if we miss it at those years. But that's a different conversation. But either way, Jan, I understand the police were investigating an apparent hit-and-run incident on the south.
That's unfortunate. We understand it happened last evening. Of course, condolences to that gentleman who lost his life and his entire family. Well, not to him, his family. It's an unfortunate incident. It just underscores the point, Joseph. Speeding is a significant problem in Grenada. I don't know how we're ever going to curb it. Our roads are narrow. I guess you're thinking, Maurice Bishop Highway is a one highway you could apply some pressure on the brakes. But, folks, in the blink of an eye, something can happen. No need to speed.
Rushing to go where?
No need to speed. We don't know the circumstances. We cannot say what happened. The details are still being investigated. But I know speeding contributes a lot to some of the accidents and distracted driving. Those are two of our main contributors from what we've heard from the police.
The mobile phone, those devices.
Or just talking to people. Sometimes it's so simple. You take your eyes off the road for a split second, and in that second, somebody's crossing, something is happening, you miss it. So remember to stay focused on the roads this morning. I'm guessing the traffic jam is happening across the island as usual.
What traffic jam, Jan?
I mean, it's happening.
You know, people, folks in the other islands, they normally laugh, like for Trinidad, just because they're right there, and you tell them, traffic jam in Grenada, and they're watching you like...
No. The last count I saw was over 60-something thousand vehicles, registered vehicles on our roads. And, I mean, the majority of businesses happen in the capital and Grenada. And so all those vehicles coming into town from various points, you get the bottlenecks. There is traffic jam almost every day. So now, people have to plan for it. You normally leave home and think it's generally maybe a 10-15 minute ride from my home to the office or to the school. But now, I need to plan for an hour.
Normally it would take me for me in Springs just under 10 minutes, tops.
With no traffic.
Right. But that would happen if let's say I leave home 8:30. Right. If I'm leaving home anytime between 7 and 7:30.
Yeah, that's a rush hour.
Believe me.
Yeah.
It feels as though I'm coming
for an hour.
Let's plan.
Especially if you have to get maybe to pass through town and get to Grenada and other areas. An hour safely. Let's
plan. But as we say plan, we got to keep our eyes on the clock. It is 17 minutes on to the hour in the morning time. For those of you just waking, and you're probably thinking, I recognize the voices, but not particularly this time of the morning. Your eyes are not playing tricks at you. Your eyes are not playing tricks at you. Good morning to you, Joseph and the double J they get this morning. They get a double dose.
Janelle.
Joseph and
People say it's never a good combination when we're on together. I don't know why. I think we behave generally.
Well, generally, we may behave this time of the morning.
Hey, Joe, later, if we get a chance, I know we have some interviews coming up on the other side of the news, but we need to talk about the soca that's coming in this year, man. They're hot.
They are?
Where have you been?
Well, I must be in a hole somewhere.
You've been in a hole
really.
now.
I'm not a real soca fan.
Really.
I'm not a hardcore soca fan.
I'm not a soca fan, but I'm a carnival fan, and they make the season for me. Well, so I'm excited. I heard some really interesting pieces, and if we get a chance, hopefully we can feature some of it later on. Let all our folks hear what's happening in
what I can tell is, as we get ready for news, though, that on Thursday in Around the Box, I'm going to have Andrew Hitz Phillips. He's going to be with me. Soto's going to be Muddy and Squeezehead. They're also going to be on with me. Promises to be mega. Folks, all things being what they are, we have to leave you for now. That's all. Well, those folks on television, that is. For those of you that's on television, we break from you. We'll be back on the other side of the clock. But you get a recap of the last weekend's news recap. For those of you that is on radio, the morning edition of news comes up just about now.
Ride in style with an easy ride loan from Ariza. Enjoy the comfort and convenience of your own vehicle for work or play. You've got places to go, and we're gonna help you get there. Easy. That's why on June 22nd, we're hosting our Easy Ride Auto Show at Ariza's Car Park, Bruce Street. Speak to our professional loan officers, car dealers, and insurance brokers in one convenient location. Learn about our special offers on electric and fuel-efficient used and new vehicles. This is your opportunity to secure your Easy Ride loan and drive away in style.
This is GBN's News at 7. High Court Judge Ralston Glasgow delivered judgment against the government of Grenada, ruling in favor of former Ambassador Oleg Ferrer in a case of unlawful recall as an ambassador of Grenada. The court unequivocally declared that Ferrer's removal from his ambassadorial post without presenting specific allegations of alleged impropriety or allowing him the opportunity to respond was a clear breach of his rights to procedural fairness. The judgment delivered states in part, it is therefore ordered as follows. 1. The prayers for declarations in the originating motion on the grounds that Mr. Ferrer was at all times a citizen of Grenada are all refused. 2. It is declared that the decision to recall Mr. Ferrer as ambassador of Grenada without informing him of the specific allegations of impropriety against him and allowing him an opportunity to make presentations prior to his recall breached his right to procedural fairness. 3. Mr. Ferrer is awarded the sum of $60,000 as damages for the breach of his right to be informed of the specific allegations of impropriety against him and allowing him an opportunity to make representations prior to his recall. 4. No order is made for exemplary and or aggravated damages. And 5. Prescribed costs are payable to Mr. Ferrer in the sum of $10,000. GBN contacted the press secretary to Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, Ms. Neela Etienne, who informed our news desk that government will provide a response to this judgment on Monday. Grenada has formally requested that the Bank of England provide reparations for its historical involvement in owning plantations and utilizing enslaved labor in the country. Rena Perry-Thomas has this report.
The government of Grenada has issued a demand for reparation from the Bank of England for its direct role in the enslavement of Africans and their descendants in Grenada during the 1780s. This request was made through a letter signed by the Grenada Cabinet and delivered to Andrew Bailey, the governor of the Bank of England. The letter highlights that the Bank of England owned 2 plantations and nearly 600 slaves on the island during the 18th century. Ali Gill, chairman of the National Reparation Commission, confirmed in an interview with GBN that the letter sent by the government was recommended by the commission.
Well, what we have done is to advise the government of Grenada, and on our advice they have written to the Bank of England, signed by the Cabinet Secretary. One of the roles and function of the Reparations Committee is to advise government on the issues of reparations. Well, what we have done is to advise the government of Grenada, and on our advice they have written to the Bank of England, signed by the Cabinet Secretary. One of the roles and function of the Reparations Committee is to advise government on the issues of reparations. The Bank of England, they own the Bailey's Bacolet and the what was then referred to as the Chemin Estate, now Good Hope Estate, and they were directly involved for a period of time in the operation of these plantations and owned slaves. That is on top of the issue of them financing significantly slavery and the industry which involves slave trade.
Grenada, which was a British colony from 1763 until its independence in 1974, has established a dedicated National Reparation Commission that advocates for Britain to acknowledge and make amends for the exploitation of slave labor in the region. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, the current government has urged the Bank of England to engage in discussion regarding the nature and extent of compensation owed. They have proposed the formation of a joint committee with Grenadian delegates to outline a reparation package by the end of August. Although the exact amount of reparation have not been specified, the chairman confirmed that they received a response from the bank following its receipt of the letter.
We received a response acknowledging receipts, and we are with further correspondence from the bank. But yes, we have received a response acknowledging receipt of the letter.
Gill emphasized that this letter marks the beginning of reparation, with ongoing research to support further claims.
We continue to do research, but we would not stop here, of course. We continue to do research, and we continue to gather, more specific information with regards to institutions and so. And of course, ultimately, one day we would, not just as Grenada, but more than likely the entire CARICOM region would approach the government of England and, of course, the royal family. So it's an ongoing process, step by step.
Officials at the Bank of England have received the formal demand for reparations, but further discussions must involve consultation with the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office before progressing. Rena Thomas, GBN News.
In more news, Saturday, June 1st, marks the start of what is expected to be an intense Atlantic hurricane season with over 20 predicted storms. A collaborative approach has been taken by stakeholders responsible for the dissemination of information and safety of the country.
A joint panel on Thursday featured Assistant Commissioner of Police John Mitchell, a representative of the Shelter Management Committee, Tonya Hysent, head of Met Services at the Maurice Bishop International Airport, Gerard Tamer, and director of the National Disaster Management Agency, Terence Walters, as they sought to inform residents about the impending season. Hysent said the shelter inspections were completed during the first few months of 2024.
We do have a robust team that goes out yearly to inspect our shelters to make sure that they are sound and that we can house shelterees should we need to actually activate shelters. So I really want to place on record our team, Ministry of Infrastructure, Grenada Housing Authority, Community Development, the Royal Grenada Police Force Fire Department, the Ministry of Health, and of course the Grenada Red Cross for leading the inspection headed by the Infrastructure Department to really ensure that our buildings are sound and that we can really facilitate shelterees should they have to. But we also need to remember that the emergency shelters are our last resorts. Our homes is what we really need to make sure that we have sound, proof, and safe.
On Monday, NADMA will release the list of designated shelters for the season. ACP John Mitchell said every department of the Royal Grenada Police Force is ready to do its part to ensure the safety of the public before, during, and after any potential impact from hurricanes and storms.
Certainly, the Coast Guard, the Fire Service, which was mentioned by Tonya, CRD, which is responsible for public announcements, the CID for investigation, RRU for response, rapid response, or SSU. So we have a myriad of departments and divisions, certainly, that is engaged in ensuring that the safety and security of the general public. We are involved also, not just NADMA, but in the comprehensive risk reduction and the whole cycle of disaster management and prevention.
The upcoming Atlantic hurricane season is expected to have above normal activity due to a confluence of factors. Tamer explains the two main factors driving the increased activity.
There are two major factors that are driving these predictions. First of all, high sea surface temperature. The Atlantic Ocean, the Caribbean Sea, the Gulf of Mexico, these sea bodies are very hot, hotter than usual. Actually, one publication mentioned that it has been over 400 days of above normal temperature. Okay? So more than a year that these bodies have been above the normal temperature. The other reason is that we are entering into a La Nina stage. Now, what the La Nina phenomenon presents for us is favorable wind shear for cyclone development.
The United Nations World Food Programme, WFP, on Thursday called for urgent global support for small island nations disproportionately impacted by the climate crisis, including many now bracing for the Atlantic hurricane season. The appeal came as the 4th International Small Island Developing States SIDS conference concluded in Antigua and Barbuda.
Food Program delegation led by Executive Director Cindy McCain met with heads of state and governments from the Caribbean and the Pacific this week to discuss the pressing need to address the dire threats facing small island developing states SIDS and to take advantage of the opportunities for resilient and sustainable development in these regions. SIDS are caught in the crossfire of several crises, including the pandemic's socio-economic effect and the climate crisis. McCain issued a warning stating that small island governments, despite having contributed very little to the global climate problem, are directly affected by it and are increasingly in danger of losing their citizens' lives and means of subsistence. Island states desperately need international international assistance to shield themselves from extreme weather and economical shocks. The SIDS conference comes to a close as the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season kicks off, one that is expected to be one of the most active in record, further endangering these nations. The WFP says it is working with governments in the region on emergency preparedness while working with local suppliers in other Caribbean countries to rapidly mobilize food in the event of emergencies. The WFP is also enhancing early warning systems and preparedness measures, including insurance programs that ensure vulnerable communities stay secure and recover swiftly when hit by storms and hurricanes. The WFP helps countries build their capacity using data such as monitoring and geographic information system so that governments can make informed decisions and rapidly deliver assistance where it is needed. Joseph Cadore, GBN News.
2 companies in Grenada have generously donated over 20,000 EC dollars to victims of the March fire in Chantimel St. Patrick to support the reconstruction of their homes. Rena Thomas tells us more in this report.
The 5 families in St. Patrick, whose homes were engulfed by fire in March, have received a combined donation of 27,000 EC dollars from George F. Huggins and Tropical Shipping. This gesture reflects the company's commitment to corporate social responsibility and community support. The fire not only displaced over 10 individuals, including children, but also impacted the entire Chantimel community. Chief Executive Officer of George F. Huggins, Anna Chowchong, and Country Manager of Tropical Shipping, Chenny Joseph, in their remarks commented on the serious impact of the fire.
As I've said many times at this very podium, we are in business to strive. But as a Grenadian flagship, we must also be ready to stand with our country and its people. And so it is a privilege, really, to walk this road to Emmaus with the victims of this fire in Chantimel.
To the victims, we genuinely feel their pain and discomfort and displacement during the period up until now. I heard that luckily for those people, there's a commitment to build back better.
Accepting the contributions on behalf of the fire victims, Ms. Laura Logie, a retired housing officer and advocate for the Chantimel fire victims, received the checks of 13,500 EC each from both businesses.
Say a pleasant thank you to Huggins and Tropical Shipping for that great gesture, because so far they have been kind of a little bit on the comfortable side now, because they see that something is going to happen, because they're already seen the houses, how you're going to rebuild back, and they're going to be getting better houses than what they had before.
Additionally, George F. Huggins extended further support by donating 2,000 EC dollars to the Labukan Creative Center, contributing to the development of Grenada's cultural heritage. The donation will assist in funding the center's upcoming play, I Do, scheduled for release on June 8th. Salika Peters, Chief Executive Officer of the center, gratefully accepted the donation on their behalf.
I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to Huggins for their contribution to the creative arts. Being in this sector is a love. It is something that is very important to Grenada's culture and history, and the onus is on us to make sure that we keep the arts and culture alive, and it's companies like Huggins who allow us to be able to continue to do so. So on behalf of Labukan Trading Center, I'd just like to extend a heartfelt thanks.
Rena Thomas, GBN News.
Godwin McDonald, a 62-year-old farmer of Upper Hermitage, St. Patrick, was charged with the offense of arson following investigations into the burning of a dwelling house at Hermitage, St. Patrick on Tuesday, 28 May 2024. McDonald appeared at Grenville Magistrates Court today, Friday, 31st May 2024, and was granted bail in the sum of $35,000 with one surety. He is scheduled to appear at the Cites Magistrates Court on Wednesday, July 17th, 2024. In more news, the Grenada Cooperative Nutmeg Association said it is committed to being more resilient than before. The reopening of its renovated structure in Bolio St. George was hailed as one of the major accomplishments for the association during the past year. Here's more in this report.
The Grenada Cooperative Nutmeg Association now has an additional facility under its wings that will serve as a hub for agro-processing aimed at increasing the variety of products utilizing different parts of the nutmeg. Located at Bolio St. George, the former nutmeg processing plant was constructed in 1972 and suffered extensive damage during Hurricane Ivan before being left abandoned for close to 20 years. The reopening of the renovated structure was hailed one of the major accomplishments of the association during the past year, an initiative made possible through funding from the OECS project. Minister for Agriculture and Lands, Forestry and Marine Resources, Honorable Lennox Andrew, commended members of the GCNA for their work over the past year. The Grenada Cooperative Nutmeg Association has identified market expansion, increasing research and development to foster innovation, strategic partnerships with governments, and forming alliances with partners to expand the global reach, and talent development to build a more skilled workforce as key elements of the vision for the future. Central to their redirection is a renewed focus on innovation and agility, which the organization believes is critical to their success. The association considers fostering innovation and creativity as a means of staying ahead of industry trends. Christelina John, GBN News.
The creative side of nature. It's time to take a peek through the GBN ISOL lens. In tonight's ISOL is an oddly shaped papaya or pawpaw harvested on the sister isle of Carriacou. Papayas contain high levels of antioxidants, vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin E. Diets high in antioxidants may reduce the risk of heart disease. The antioxidants prevent the oxidation of cholesterol. Send us your photo and video submissions via WhatsApp on 405-3052 or our other social media platforms.
Avoid leaks at home. Save water.
This awareness initiative is part of activities under the Climate Resilient Water sector in Grenada. The project is funded by the Green Climate Fund, the German government, and the government of Grenada.
Get ready, Grenada, for the 18th annual Hubbard's Legends in Concert. Hubbard's Legends in Concert, as we raise our hands and give thanks. On Saturday, October 26, 2024, Thanksgiving weekend, Grenada Trade Center, 7:30 p.m. Hubbard's Legends in Concert. Stay tuned to GBN for more.
The voice of Margaret Heritage hitting the airwaves in the morning time. But 10 minutes gone past in the morning. We want to say good morning again and welcome back to those of you that is on television. We want to say thank you for being part of this morning conversation. I hope that you really you've turbocharged yourself and you've committed yourself today to productivity. Well, we talk about productivity, and who else we have with us this morning? A dear old friend from years once upon a time, and she's no stranger to any one of us. Good morning, Jojo.
Good morning, Joe.
I'm a marketing and communications officer from Ariza, and we know when it comes to Ariza, there's always something exciting. There's something out there that keeps the general public, keeps the populace engaged. And you think about Ariza, you think about loans, you think about all these offerings, but you don't start thinking about fast cars, and by default, that doesn't come to mind, though. However, you guys are getting there.
By default, that doesn't come to mind. Well, it better start coming to mind now, Joe.
Fast cars, loans, everything. Talk to me. How are you?
Well, first of all, I'm very good, thank God. And how are you?
I am excellent. I often say I'm not necessarily a this early in the morning person, but I'm grateful to be alive.
Yeah, and you did have some pep in your step there because it transferred to me.
Well, good. Let's do this then.
Let's do it. Why not?
Let's mash up the place.
Yes. Why not?
So
we have to answer to Janelle for it, but
it's her fault.
It's all her fault.
All her fault.
Okay. Somebody's got to get the blame, right?
Somebody's got to get the blame, and it's neither you nor me. No.
Before we get into that, though, I just think I want to say thanks to our members who were so wonderful during the downtimes, the recent attack on the systems and so, which didn't allow us to serve our customers as our members as we would have wanted to, but needless to say, they stuck with us. They were really wonderful, so thank you to all our members. I think it would be remiss of me not to say that.
And I think it's just a reminder, where we don't want to dwell too much on it, though you would agree, that is a reminder, just not just to your membership, but to all of us, as to the current environment that we live in, and that we should be conscious, give us a sense of awareness and listen, there are other elements out there to get us.
Yes.
Yeah?
And that's why Ariza is careful to always put out tips on safety tips, whether it's on your PIN or generally speaking, because we live in an online world. This internet is all about online.
And there's no turning back.
No, no.
There is no turning back.
No, it would be silly to think of that.
And I know a lot of people, when we get to these crossroads, the first thing they start thinking, if it was the days before, the days prior.
Oh, we say that.
That's
we
gone.
have these things, but if it was the days prior, you wouldn't even have a mobile phone.
And that's a good way to think about it. If you want to give up the technology, then you realize out goes WhatsApp, out goes Facebook.
Out goes information.
Out goes information.
Yeah. We're in an information age. One press of a button and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
You search engine of your choice and you're gone.
And you are gone. But in the midst of all of that, and again, I know the customers, they were well challenged.
Yes.
They understood.
Yes.
And they rose to the occasion.
They did.
I met a lot of your customers that were just standing there, and you made provisions, whether it was on extended hours during the day, even on weekends.
Yes.
And they said, wow, rising to the moment. Kudos to the company.
That's
for that.
We do what we have to.
Ariza.
And we go above and beyond. We rise to the occasion.
And now you guys are going fast cars. Engines roaring.
Anything
burning.
you want. Any automobile that you want. Come to see us on the 22nd. You can come before, Joe.
Right.
I'm not preventing you from doing that, but I'm saying the event of the year is going to happen on the 22nd of June, right at Ariza's car park.
Right.
So it's going to be turned into a sea of automobiles and automobile-related items. You name it, it will be there.
So let's go through the day. How does it pan out?
All right, so we start at 10, we finish at about 6. But during that time, you would have the opportunity to interact. Anybody who comes in will have the opportunity to interact with car dealers, see the vehicles that you may wish to purchase,
right,
and interact with our staff. So that's loans officers, advisors, because you have to have financial advisors, who would take you through the process of what it takes to obtain a loan. And if you want a loan, we start booking the loan.
Right.
Remember, there are documents and so that we require, obviously, in order to disperse a loan. So we're saying if you know you're interested, or you may think you're not, you may think you're doing good until you come down and you see something and you may want to change, either to upgrade or because something suits your purposes better. I was looking at someone the other day who sold clothing from out of a car and thought she was fine.
Until
the idea came, well, why not do, one of these other vehicles, that semi-bus type thing, or a van, pickup, may suit your purposes better. So you may think that you're okay. But when you see the sea of vehicles available to you, then you might realize that, no, hey, this is the better deal. This is the better way to go.
And as you said, that the person that you made a reference to, very often people, they don't see the purchase of a vehicle as an investment in a business.
That's it.
So it's not just you buying a vehicle because you figure, well, but we see it as an investment in you, your status, what it would mean to you to have a vehicle.
But then again, we have to be solutions oriented, and that's what we are. So we have to present to you what's most suitable for you.
Right.
Yes. So
that whole Fiesta, it targets all and sundry.
Everybody. Once you're 18 and over. And so now we have you have cars, vehicles, but of course you need insurance.
Right.
We have insurance companies. You need parts and accessories. We have.
So it's
it's
literally a one-stop
shop. That's why I said it's an auto show. It's everything automobile related.
Right.
Yes. And you have your loans officers and the financial advisors. And
everybody's there. And these are not, according to them puff people in there, right?
Joe, I think you need to explain.
Well, I use puff because earlier on you asked me if I want you to dress wrong. So if you decide you want to go local for colloquial, so it's not the puff fellas that come in. Top of the line, experts in the industry. That understands, that knows what is required.
So you have used vehicles, new vehicles, people who understand your needs. So you might think you have a small family, and why not do a two-door? Let's say, for example, but you have a baby, you have a car seat that needs to fit in the back and be able to go in and come out comfortably with ease. Right. There's going to be, you have people who advise you, this may not be the solution that you need. You may be able to get a four-door at the same price or around the same price point. So you have to take into consideration what your needs are. Sometimes it's not about needs, it's about wants. Hey, I'm talking to a guy, you guys and vehicles, right? You want a souped up whatever. It won't matter to me. I need to get from point A to point B.
The convenience.
Yeah, the convenience is what I'm all about. But that may not be what. So there's bling too, Joe.
So combination of bling, convenience, and your need, your own basic needs.
Yeah. So you have your needs there and your wants. And that's the truth, because what you see as wonderful on a vehicle may not be what I see. A hubcap, for example.
So all of the players in the market is going to be there. Let's say I'm not necessarily interested in purchasing right away. I have it some in the back of my mind, but I already have a vehicle. But I'm thinking I just want to make it look posh. Yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah, so you'll be able to facilitate me as well.
Yes, because you want to soup it up. You want a little bling. And that's all right. There was a time when we had steering wheel covers that were simply black.
Not anymore.
No. You're telling me about that?
I think a vehicle, no argument, has almost unequivocally become an extension of the individual.
Precisely.
So you see them, you hear the music, And you get a vibe as to who the person is.
And you know what? To me, that's perfectly fine. Because when you get into your vehicle, that drive time, that commute time is important to you. It's your downtime. And whatever makes you happy while you're in there. So if you want your pink, glittering, fancy steering wheel cover, that's fine.
That's okay.
I may simply want the black. And if you want that fragrance that's going to light up your day, that's okay too. It's
if
what
they
you
want to talk, let them talk.
That's fine. You know, you want a talking car? That's all right. Maybe I don't. So you talk about the hybrids. And, you know, government has been speaking a lot about emphasizing on fuel efficient. So you'll have electric cars and hybrids, and why not? They'll be there too.
I was having a conversation with a colleague that's in the financial industry with you, and he was saying, boy, people don't know it. He has a particular vehicle that and everybody's asking, well, why you don't, I mean, that don't look like you. I mean, a guy like you, they think he probably should have maybe a big CRV and looking all posh. And he says, when he considers the cost of fuel and the economy, that the vehicle he has at present, that it offers him, he says he ain't trading, he ain't selling. So as you said,
it's about your needs.
About your needs. For him, it's about economy. He says it takes you from point A to point B. Very low on gas. He's fine.
So we have taken everything into consideration, because we have to advise you. It's not simply a case of I want a vehicle and I see XYZ, so I think I don't want to name vehicles, because I don't want to lean anybody this morning to one dealer as opposed to another. But I'm saying, even the new and used vehicle, you might think that you see this new or used vehicle and this is what you need.
I could see you in a bright sports car, Lamborghini, maybe a Lamborghini, nice bright 2-door.
All right. So when
I've seen it.
So when I get off the set, you can probably just come out and see what I'm driving. And that was based on advice from my loans officer as well. Okay, so you can have a look.
I'll have a look.
I won't charge you for looking. But truly, it's about solutions.
Right.
And like I said, some people don't need a solution. They just want to enhance what they have. It's not about solution. What I want.
Right.
And you want it, you can afford it. You want to get blinged up, fine. So when the actual loans part of it is over, the cars per se, auto, then have a little entertainment, and souped up it shall be. Lights to go and bling.
The glim, the bling and the colors and the glitters.
Well, it is what it is. You know?
So this is literally a whole day festival.
It's a whole day thing.
Whole day thing.
And there'll be food, so you don't have to think of getting away to get.
So once you touch down, that's it.
Once you land, you land.
You're in.
Yes.
Oh gosh. As long as, I mean, I'm wondering if somebody's going to personally invite me. I don't want just one disinvite. I want if somebody, one of my friends in the rise, I will just personally invite.
All right. So what I'll do is when I get out from here, I will send you a personal invitation. Is that okay?
I'm in. I'm in.
Joe is demanding an invitation.
Yeah. No. An event of this nature.
He's going to get more than one. I will ensure that.
An event of this nature.
But you know, the truth is that people come to you, members come to you, and you realize that they want a solution. They need to get from point A to point B. You may be single, you may have a family. I mean, during COVID, you noticed it so much that people needed to be independent. Turn your key and you're gone. Well, I'm saying turn your key. That sounds a little old, right? We push starting. No.
Nobody turning keys anymore.
Bounce your key.
Yeah,
whichever it is. Yeah. Press of a button, right? It sounds old school. But the truth is, people need solutions.
And while you're on the issue of solutions, though, even the way companies like yourself, Horizon and others, times have changed. And certainly, you have to go with that new flow and that new trend. Years ago, the idea was that they would come to us. We're going to sit and let you come to us. But that's out the way.
That doesn't happen anymore.
You have to now get proactive and think of what your customers' needs are, and you meet them where they are.
But then again, you've been listening to your members, and you know for sure that this is something that is in demand. So you ensure that you have the forum, you have everything available, and it's up to you now to come, make a wise decision, and we're here to help you.
Can we expect that there are going to be special rates on that day, or is it just an opportunity to meet everybody?
No, there are going to be a lot of specials, including same-day approvals right there, because the whole outfit is going to be there. So there will be same-day approvals. There will be new members sign-ups on the day as well, and new members can get pre-approvals on that day, and we're saying that at least within 3 days you should get your approval.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, you said
in 3 working days.
You said 3 working days, and I see a particular individual walks into the studio. I'm watching their colors. Let me just kind of make our own assessment. We don't want to speak too loud. We're just going to speak into the microphone. So I mean, what's your assessment though on the day? I'm probably seeing her in a pickup, one of those.
It's amazing because that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could see her and she could handle it, eh?
I know.
Some nice rims, music, sound system, because she loves her music, eh?
So you see, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's why there's everything. So like I say, you come from 10 to 6. Of course, there's everything there, and I want to highlight that you do have insurance companies as well, and auto parts and accessories dealers. So it's not just auto dealers. You have new and used vehicles. You have the electric and the hybrid, and you want to turn your key as well, because nobody is left out. And you have music, you have entertainment, and you have your bling up.
Folks, I hear Joe start telling about bling. I don't play thing, this is not play thing.
But it's not play thing. It's good thing. It's your lights, it's your accessories, it's everything you need. Like I said, you may be into rims. I mean, I just want the tire covered.
Yeah, but
make sure it's nice and safe.
But Jan won the rims and the fancy ones.
Yeah, she came in. You notice what brought her in.
What brought her in? Because I'm not sure why she's here either way.
I think it has
she's
to
just
do with
standing there.
The steering wheel cover and stuff. I think she wants a silver-ish glittery one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, she's nodding her head.
Folks, it is happening. It's an Easy Ride promotion.
It is our Easy Ride promotion.
Again, just remind us, I know people might be thinking it's far away, but that's not the case.
It's the 22nd of June.
That's just now.
That's very soon. Of course, if you want your vehicle loan now, it doesn't mean that you can't come in and get it. It's available.
Yeah?
It is available.
How can we reach you, though?
440-1759.
I'm assuming you do have social media platforms that we can use.
We do. You
well.
can go on our Facebook page. You have Instagram, Twitter. You go on any one of them. Yeah. So if you want to send us a message via our Facebook page or any one of our social media platforms, sure.
Folks, it is here. It is happening. Is it happening? Is this the first time you have an event of that nature?
No, but it's the biggest.
It is going to be the biggest.
It is going to be the biggest and the best.
It's going to be the biggest. It is going to be the best. Ariza, they've partnered all of the stakeholders. So whether or not you're looking for a brand new vehicle, you're looking to maybe you want to move up the ladder, or you just decided, just for curiosity, you just want to figure out, let me go see what is really happening. Keep it in mind, it's on the 22nd of June. You meet them in Ariza car park. It's a whole day event. Jan is going to be there.
Yeah.
Jan is going to be there. Jan is going to be there. Yeah, and I have my special invitation. I don't want anybody to feel jealous.
So he has to be there.
Yeah.
And I'll be there.
But it would be by special invitation. I want that to be said unequivocally, no ambiguity to it. Only by special invitation, but just because I am JC.
Seems we have to have hard copy and soft copy. So
you're having bicycles?
So we sorted out bicycles. That is excellent.
No, if you're going to get me a bicycle, make sure what's the one? Those are the balance wheel, right?
No, we have to. Remember, I said we're catering to your needs. We're making sure we're solutions oriented. Come on, Joe.
Anything outside of that, as it relates to Ariza, you want to share with us before we wrap?
Nothing, but I really do want to say thanks again to our members who have been wonderful, absolutely, and we can't stop saying thank you so much for being loyal and being as wonderful as you are.
Again, thank you, Joe. She is our Marketing and Communications Officer from Ariza. And good morning to all of the Ariza team. Jan, anybody in Ariza you want to say good morning to?
She's here.
Really?
She said I'm here.
She said, Jan, pretend. Nobody else, Jan, you want to sing one or two in the riser? Well, you see, you keep prodding at the bear.
There you go.
See, I know she wants to tell Raylene good morning.
Yes.
Well, good morning, Raylene. Good morning, Miss Henry. Good morning to you wonderful people inside of there. It's your boy JC. We're keeping our eyes on the clock because the morning it is rolling. 27 minutes gone past the hour. The Ministry of Health, they're here and they're ready to start our conversation. We take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back right here on Classic in the morning time.
Ride in style with an easy ride loan from Ariza. Enjoy the comfort and convenience of your own vehicle for work or play. You've got places to go, and we're gonna help you get there easy. That's why on June 22nd, we're hosting our Easy Ride Auto Show at Ariza's Car Park, Bruce Street. Speak to our professional loan officers, car dealers, and insurance brokers in one convenient location. Learn about our special offers on electric and fuel-efficient used and new vehicles. This is your opportunity to secure your Easy Ride loan and drive away in style.
This is Ezra the Fun Machine, and I'm calling all revelers, carnivalists, and bacchanalists. Let me tell you, take a loan of $3,000 or more for your costume and pay only $340 per month with Courts ready cash. Plus, you get to enter to win your loan back. That's right! Pay $0 down and nothing for the first 30 days. All you need is your ID, proof of address, job letter, pay slip, and 2 references. Visit your nearest Courts already cash location today or contact your Carnival band for more details. Experience Carnival 2024 with Courts ready cash. We are ready when you are. Conditions apply. Aye, aye, aye.
From the fertile heart of Grenada to the far reaches of the globe, Ram's Supermarket brings together the best of both worlds. Savor the freshest, locally sourced produce from our trusted Grenadian farmers and explore a curated selection of top-quality international favorites. Experience a shopping journey where warmth meets a world of flavors and affordability meets premium quality. At Rams, we welcome everyone to discover the joy of global and local culinary delights. Nestled in Sugar Mill, Grand Anse, we are open all week to offer you a taste of home and beyond. Rams Supermarket, where our family, community, and the world come together. We are the good food people.
In these moments, we're not just watching our match, we live in it. 44 million fans, 11 players, one flow. Bleeding we colors, celebrating we greatness. Wherever it's played, Flow is proud to be a part of it. This is We Game.
So my problems is like steroids, boy. I get
And the song says, what doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. And if you think about it really and truly, I mean, sometimes I know we say it in a more vulgar tone, but the reality of it is that life, whatever hits you, there's only two things that can happen to you. It hits you, you stand, it hits you, and you go below. But the fact that you and I are still here, the fact that I have Mr. Denny Crony with me here this morning, and he's an environmental health officer, and the fact that I have Kenneth Hazan, who's the chief environmental health officer, acting this morning, and the fact that you two gentlemen are here with me, that means your purpose has not yet been fulfilled. There is still plans and time to execute and find what your destiny is. What say you, these two wonderful gentlemen, this morning?
Well, we want to thank GBN, first of all, for hosting us. And we are here to represent the Ministry of Health with regard to our World Food Safety Day activities. We do have a week of activities this week, and we would want to really highlight those to the public and have you involved in the activities.
Excellent. You're missing your tie, though.
Oh, I understand. I was given a nice tie with the logo on it, but the truth is I'm not a person who loves ties. I do understand that it does bring out that particular look in you, and maybe one of these days.
The man, all I'll say is that you've been outdone and you've been outplayed. What's up, Cadore? Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
Talk to me about your accessorization.
Well, I'm Denny Crony, and as most people might know, I am the man behind Crony's Forest Bows. So it's my promotional adventure. I wear my tie as much as I can.
Well, you see, and it speaks volume of the man himself. And there was a time when I was a lot into ties, but that was actually since after I lost that zeal since after Ivan. You know, my Ivan, everybody's we just dressed down, and since then, you know what? But either way, Crony is taking it to a different level.
Of course.
He's taking it to a different level. Now, either way, gentlemen, again, good morning to you and welcome to the program. Good morning to all our listeners and our viewers. World Food Day.
Well, it's World Food Safety Day.
Yes. And a celebration. Why the importance, though? Why the need for that conversation as it relates to World Food Safety Day?
Actually, World Food Safety Day actually started in 2019, and it's an initiative of the World Health Organization and the Food and Agricultural Organization. So it's a global activity, actually. And the need for World Food Safety Day came about because we are seeing a high burden of disease as a result of foodborne illnesses. The World Health Organization shows that over 600 million persons per year come down with foodborne illnesses. Over 420,000 people die as a result of foodborne illnesses. And so there is a need for us to promote healthy practices and healthy and safe food handling practices to cut down on that burden of disease and death that we are seeing in this industry.
Those stats doesn't represent us here in Grenada. We're good.
Well, I wouldn't say that because while we do not have the direct statistics that relate illnesses to foodborne illness, foodborne mishandling of food, we do have a high burden of disease with regard to diarrheal disease in Grenada, which is an indication that we do have outbreaks of foodborne illness in Grenada.
What are some of the common ones? Share with us.
Well, salmonellosis, typhoid, a number of these other illnesses. Sometimes persons come down with minor illnesses that they do not associate with foodborne illnesses. As a child growing up, I remember having these bouts of diarrhea every time. I remember having to rush from the bus into the toilet. And we never associated that with the food that we eat, with our food handling practices, not washing our hands, cooking contaminated foods that have been spoiled. For example, a can that has been bulged, rusted. And we use these and not really realizing what happens to us later. And we may blame something else for it.
And it's an excellent point that you've made historically. In the absence of knowledge, something or somebody had to take the blame.
Yeah.
So we say we came up with a story. But the reality is it was us, young boys, young men, you go under the... Who goes when you go into the field? You go pick up a mango, wash, That really, you're in the bush and you want some pipe to wash your mango, you know what's going to happen. You get the plums. You pick it up off of the ground. We don't think about the spiral effects, do we?
No, and that's something we did as children, and I think it's still happening, though I believe to a lesser extent, because what we were exposed to then, I think we were protecting our children from those. But we lived actually in the field. We lived in the garden, in the bushes, and the mangoes and plums and so forth were our breakfast, our lunch, our dinner. And we sometimes pick them up even in the night and eat them without even seeing what's going on with them.
So there is the World Food Safety Day, and there is a number of activities that marks that, Denny.
Yes, sir. So World Food Safety Day is a big thing now, and it's a big deal for us in Grenada also. Mm-hmm. So as a result, we have a number of activities leading up to World Food Safety Day, which is the 7th of June. That's Friday coming. So as of today, we have some videos that we'll be launching from Monday to Thursday that speaks to from farm to table food safety at each stage, what agency, what stakeholders, what part they play to ensure that the food that we get at the final stage that reach our plate is safe. We also have some educational activities where we go to supermarkets and ask persons questions based on food safety. They might get a little token, and if they whatever questions they are asked, we educate them if they don't know the answer to it. So that's a form of that's the list of activities we have coming up. Also on Wednesday, we'll be going to a primary school where we'll be educating the grade 6 on food safety, because you don't want to start with the children. It's a big deal. It's dispersed. So and then the big day we have in front of the mall, we'll be there, still educating people and still showcasing items, what should and should not be accepted.
What are some of the, in your estimation, some of the greater challenge to get people to appreciate and understand the nature of the conversation, of ensuring that what we consume, it is of the best quality?
One of the challenges is mentality. You see, once persons change their mentality to life and change their mentality towards, the whole topic, things will change. Because what some people know before, they hold on to some myth, and they want to bring it into, action now. For example, some persons might say, they don't eat in certain meat unless it's not making warm. And
they're not eating certain meat unless you're not making wool.
Yes, that's some myth like some people hold on to. They might store things in a particular way before, and to them that is the ideal. But now, with the lack of knowledge, they think what they're doing is right. So now we are, as the authorities, we have a part to play in educating them so that they can change their mentality and also change their way of thinking.
As you say, you have to rearrange their ignorance. And that in itself is a greater challenge. And I think it probably, you look at it, it is easier to teach a child or a society that which is right than trying to reteach them. Because it's almost doubling the effort. Because very often it's not just children, it's adults who hold on to those school of thoughts.
True.
Yes, because even in some of our restaurants, we have other persons from other cultures who are doing business in Grenada, and some of them come with these type of cultures. Right. So, for example, in some maybe Asian states, you would see them using their feet to do certain things. Things like well, maybe I don't want to really.
I understand.
But
culturally, it's not things that we might be comfortable with.
Exactly. True. For example, some persons use human feces to manure their things like cabbages and lettuces and so forth. People use their feet to do flour and so forth. And these are things that happen in other cultures, but they're not acceptable here in Grenada. But there is that challenge with also changing persons' perception and attitude in terms of having them to accept what we accept here.
But those sort of issues, some very often, we probably have little or no control over it.
Well, when you say little or no control, it speaks to, maybe the people themselves, but as authorities, we have regulations.
Okay.
We have laws that speaks to what is accepted and what is not accepted. So that is a form of control by itself. Because when we speak about food safety, we're speaking about practices, we're speaking about conditions that that prevents, contamination of food. And the laws speaks to what you should do and what you shouldn't do so that you can serve your customers safe food. So once you abide with the law, that means there's a mandate that is expected of you.
What is a law? And I want us to look at the law, different aspects of the law. While there might be issues as it relates to within the law as it governs what happens within an industrial standard, does the law also extend locally to restaurants, food handlers, and such?
Sure.
In fact, it does. The Food Safety Act of 2015 stipulates a number of measures, and there is a section that speaks to food business operators, their responsibilities, so that there is a whole section on that. Right. It also outlines all the measures that need to be practiced in a food establishment, those that are prohibited. And I must say that the Food Safety Act come with some very stiff penalties. So I saw one penalty that goes up to $100,000, some $5,000 plus 2 years in prison. Then the Food Safety Act now stipulates that a business should not open until it's registered with the authority. And in fact, and it speaks to both the establishment as well as the food vendor. And in fact, the penalty for that could be arrest.
And I'm smiling because I know there are people out there that is, I know one of the challenge in Grenada, it's compliance. Yeah. Where are we? So the laws are there on the books. It clearly states what has to be done. Is that really the case? And I know you in your office, you're a challenge, you do what you can. But how much of pushback do you get when it comes to compliance? Because do people really and truly, the fines are they laying out? I mean, do people really and truly understand?
I think when it comes to complying, it speaks to the how well one knows the law. Because as the authority, we will be versed in the law. But as the operators, they may not know the law as much. So when we bring to them certain things, they get defiant. So unless we break it down to them and let them understand. But most of the time, when we out there and we do no inspection and we speak to persons, we give them, according to the conditions, we give them a certain amount of days to get things in place. And most of the time they get their work done. Most of the times they comply because it's about their business. And if your business is about to be closed or temporary closure, it's bad for you. So most of the time they try their best to get things done in a quick time frame.
So it's never a case where you would just go to badge and say, hey, you guys are not compliant, shutting you down. There's due process.
There's a process, and the process involves where we as inspectors, we go, we inspect, and if there is any adulteration, any contamination, or anything that causes a risk to foodborne illness, then we let you know what is it, we give you recommendations, and then we give you a time frame in which you can get it done. Now, if you do not comply with the time frame and the recommendations that we lay out for you, then we take it further, which can go to a legal aspect.
What's the responsibility? Does the general public have a responsibility to be part of upholding and ensuring that these laws are maintained? So I go to a restaurant, I go to buy a hot dog, buy a vendor, by the side of this in the market, what should I look for? If I see things, do I have a responsibility to report just the same?
Right, and that is the beauty of World Food Safety Day, and that is the beauty of our week of activities, because with the week of activities comes with education and what is expected from the stakeholders, the distributors, the retailers, the consumers, and you get a wide information on what is expected of you. So when you go out there, you know what to look for. So if you didn't know, this week, you will definitely know.
So I go to buy, I'm walking through town, I can't look for people, I started to feel Meg.
A peck.
Yeah, boy. I mean, I drink a little water. If I want something to eat, I'm going to buy a little sandwich because you want to help support. And very often, you see, a lot of these people, they come out. We're not going to talk about around the festive time, season. That's a different conversation. But then every day you see a guy just shows up with a bucket, they walk with that little, selling this, selling that. Where are the restrictions? Are these people, are they governed as well as the law, taking into consideration? I wake up this morning and they said I'm going to sell, and decide, oh, today look at a great day to go bottle some coconut water and sell. I want to make a quick $50.
Well, unfortunately, that scenario just gave is happening in Grenada, where somebody just arise and decide, let me just take something up, throw it in a bucket, and go down to St. George's. And that's why we have our inspectors out there to identify those risk areas and to address them. However, we are in the process of putting measures in place because, as I said, the Food Safety Act of 2015, which we are now implementing and will be enforcing, does require that anybody who is going to open a food business, whether it's going to be an establishment or a food vendor, would have to register to do that. And so while this is not happening as it is currently, historically it had not been happening, and not currently, we are putting the measures in place right now to enforce that. Another important area is going to be the food handler certificate. Our CMO has just reviewed the whole process, and there is going to be a completely new procedure for the acquisition of a food handler certificate. And persons will have to get training. In the past, you just go to the doctor, he does some tests, and you come to us with a card that we sign. Now you will have to undergo a period of training in order to acquire a food handler certificate.
And failure to comply, again, the law.
Yes. In fact, the failure to somebody operating any food business or working in a food business without a food handler certificate, the fine, I think, is up to $5,000. And
let's be clear about this. Because I know there are people that they hear the conversation, and the first thing that comes to their mind, Denny, they're trying to take food out of my mouth. Just hustling.
Perfect. That's the perfect words. Perfect phrasing.
I'm trying to make ends meet.
You're trying to keep a poor man down.
And you hear those things every day, don't you? But the conversation goes beyond that.
Beyond that. The conversation goes beyond that because there's a process involved. And you can't just get up, and just go and say, okay, I open a food business and,
I can't?
You could, but then the law will speak. But most times you find persons doing things back into front. What you're supposed to do first, you're doing it last. You come, you open your food business, the inspectors come, and then you're worrying about, I don't have my food handler's card, when that's the first thing you're supposed to have. Right. Your food handler's card is your ticket to any food establishment, to work in any food establishment. Just like you're traveling, you cannot travel without your ticket.
Do you get the sense very often, and sometimes I probably know the answer, most people, and there's a culture again, it comes back to people, the individuals do not see what they do as a business. You hear them say, I'm making a hustle. But if you're hustling, and your hustle involves providing a meal, food to the general public, there are certain requirements.
And you can be bound by the law. You can be bound by the law. And before we move forward, when people speak about making a hustle, even in hustling, foodborne illness is present.
Right.
So we can't just make a hustle and put people at risk. There are risks involved, and that's why we are here with the laws and the regulations to ensure that consumers receive safe food and not just hustling and putting people at risk.
Let's talk about the fishing industry while we're here. We know it. We're not hitting anybody, but we're having the conversation, so let's be frank about it. Sometimes, I really and truly, you have to ask yourself whether or not the folks in the fishing industry, they call me, see a guy was standing by the road with a bag, $10, look, yeah. And you see him there with that bag of fish for the whole day, advertising. The guys just have the fish in an open boat. In the end of the boat, foot on it, lie down on it, sit down on it, selling it. Does the law govern those things, or is it open season when it comes to the fishing industry? And even when we go to the fish market as well, or let's add the abattoir to it. Fish just sitting on top counter, watching one another, hoping that outside doesn't get too hot.
Well, in terms of the vending on the streets, that is prohibited in law. And in fact, a police officer or an environmental health officer can arrest such a situation.
Let's be clear. A police officer, under the law, can, if he sees there's a fish vendor vending on the side of the road, under the law, he can take action.
Yes, he can. Both the police officer or the environmental health officer. We are in the process. We must say that this is happening. If you go to the Carnage and some other areas, you would see fish vending happening. And as you said earlier on, yes, it's somebody else's way of life, maybe, but there are regulations, there are laws in place. Correct. And we don't want to get in there just as somebody with a big stick. But our first approach is education. We must say that the facilities are provided. We have a fish market that is provided for that. In St. Andrew, unfortunately, the officers, both the environmental health officer and the police, had joint operations up there to have those persons removed from the street. The same is going to be happening in St. George's at some point in time. But we approach it in terms of education of persons, ensuring they have the alternatives available, and putting in place the measures that they can continue their livelihood, but in the legal manner.
And of course, you hoping that they can well appreciate that this platform is part of that ongoing conversation that allow for educating the general public.
Well, of course, and as Mr. Crony said, after this week, we're going to be disseminating a lot of information that is going to help persons to understand their role in the whole process of food safety. Because what we want people to understand that food safety is not a matter for the Ministry of Health or the Ministry of Agriculture or the Bureau of Standard. We are the regulatory agencies.
Right.
And we play that regulatory role. But food safety really sits in the hands of the producers, the vendors, the persons who are out there cooking food and delivering food to the public. And food is not something you could decide I'm not eating. Everybody is involved in terms of consuming food. And so those persons out there are very, very important as regards to food safety.
I mean, the time is against us. Does it also take into consideration vendors again, those probably doing fruits and vegetables?
Yes.
I go to buy a mango.
Food is defined as anything that you consume.
When I open the bag of mango, two in the middle, beat up a little.
Even the man who's selling the jelly, the coconut water on the side of the street, is also involved in the food trade.
Are they required? Well, I mean, those vendors, they should be registered as well.
Yes.
Should they?
All persons will and should be registered when we begin to seriously enforce and implement the legislation.
Is there a need for extra hands on the ground?
Always. We're always short-staffed, but we're doing our best.
Because of voluntary.
Our officers have been out there conducting inspections. I'm sure well, I am sure that you would. Well, this is the press. There have been news items in the press with regard to what's been happening out there. We're currently dealing with a matter in St. Andrew, where we unfortunately had to ask somebody to temporarily cease the operation, conduct some work. So these things are happening out there.
But those are always the worst case scenarios.
Worst case.
That is outside of compliance. You would be forced to, I mean, you have to do what you have to do.
Well, when there is an extreme food safety risk, we would have to ask persons to cease operations just for a while, conduct some work, bring it up to a standard, allow for re-inspection, and then you can reopen.
And as we on that, I just want to emphasize that we are not the big bad bully. We are here to help people come up to standard. And it's a joy to see, like, when you go to inspect and you give recommendations and you help persons bring their business up to a certain standard, there's a greater joy that comes with that one, rather than having them to shut down.
I think it goes back again, we start culture.
Yeah.
People do not recognize what they're doing as a business. I just selling, hustling. Yeah, and if you treat it as a business, you would understand and appreciate that customer satisfaction is an important.
Yeah.
So if you're going to sell vegetables, don't give me a bag, 200, I want to look in the middle.
And let me just say this, as operators and business owners, you're also consumer. So what you don't like for yourself, don't like it for others. So
the golden rule must be applied. But gentlemen, we're literally out of time. I'm hoping though, and I'm giving you an open invitation that we take this conversation beyond this World Food Day activity that is coming up, but that we should, every occasion we get, if you guys have a free, I'm inviting you, feel free, give me a call, that we can set up, even we could be have an ongoing conversation to educate the public. Normally during the festive season we hear the appeal, but I think this needs to be an ongoing conversation that, of course, we take the information to the people and they can appreciate the need for us consuming healthy food. Yeah?
In fact, we must say how much we appreciate that invitation, because it's part of our trust going forward to have an ongoing education process. As we say, to acquire now the food handler's permit, you must be educated. And in general public, it's important that we educate them in terms of their buying practices as well. And so we would want to use these platforms to really disseminate information going forward. It's going to be part of our trust over the next few months and maybe going forward in the future.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Kenneth Hazard, the Chief Environmental Health Officer, and Danny Croney, he's an Environmental Health Officer, and he's a coordinator of World Food Safety Day, a week of activities that is aimed at sensitizing the public of the need to appreciate the source of your food and the processes that you go through to ensure that we consuming healthy food. 2 minutes on to the hour. At the top of the hour, we're going to join the BBC for a bulletin of news, but this is as far as I can take you. Again, it was a pleasure being here with you. And again, we do apologize for the absence of Gordon. I do hope he's a bit under the weather. For those certainties, you can well appreciate that. But certainly it was a pleasure with me rustling myself out of bed this morning and being here with you quite early on a Monday. I'm going to remind you, students, those of you that's you're getting ready for exams, if you should be at school already, but again, reminding you parents, you want to make sure you stay on top of things. Hydration, it is important. It's pretty warm on the outside. Today is the official, not today, well, it is the official start, June that is, the official start of the June Hurricane Atlantic season, and it is Teachers Month. From all of us here at the GBN, we say thanks for being part of the conversation, as send you over to the BBC for a bulletin of news that comes up right about now.
Struggling to secure a business loan because of limited credit history or loan security? The Eastern Caribbean Partial Credit Guarantee has the security you need. The Eastern Caribbean Partial Credit Guarantee, ECPCGC, is a bridge to accessible financing for micro, small, and medium enterprises in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. Backed by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank with funding from the World Bank. We work with financial institutions to help MSMEs get credit to stay in business, grow their business, or invest in green technologies. Our process is simple. Apply for a loan at your local lender. If collateral is in question, our partial credit guarantee is the answer. Once you meet the criteria, we pledge up to 80% of the collateral you're short of. Reach out to an ECBCGC participating lender or visit www.ecbcgc.org for more information. The Eastern Caribbean Partial Credit Guarantee for MSMEs. Your business, your growth, our guarantee.
Yard. Use a broom instead of a hose. Save water.
This awareness initiative is part of activities under the climate resilient water sector in Grenada. The project is funded by the Green Climate Fund, the German government, and the government of Grenada.
Are you looking for a reliable, affordable, and customer-friendly pharmacy? Look no further than Hills and Valley Pharmacy, the nation's leading healthcare products and services provider. We are committed to serving you at convenient locations. Find an extensive and affordable selection of prescription and over-the-counter drugs and medical supplies at Church Street, Hillsborough, Carriacou, Jubilee Street, Grenville, St. Andrew, near the bus terminal, and Halifax and Grenville Street, St. George. Our committed team is always available to offer valuable assistance for managing your health and wellness. Discover the additional benefits of our wholesale distribution on Halifax Street and our Medcare Center on Grenville Street, where we provide in-house physiotherapy, massage therapy, doctor consultations, and eye care services. Our commitment is to satisfy all your healthcare needs, including competitive prices, loyalty rewards, and special discounts for seniors. Contact us at 435-6904 and WhatsApp 535-4734. Choose Hills and Valley Pharmacy. Remember, your health is our business.
Served Grenada for decades. We are the #1 and largest electrical supplier.
Hi, welcome to Sunny Electrical. How may I help?
We offer electrical wire and accessories, tools, and appliances for all residential, commercial, and industrial applications, which is what we are known for. And we expanded our products with new innovative ways to modernize your home. New homeowners will be captivated in our lighting showrooms.
Some more pendant lights here. These are very multifunctional because they can work for kitchens, living rooms, bedrooms.
We have a wide selection of lighting, ranging from indoor to outdoor and solar. We are also available for site visit services to assist you with selecting the perfect light for your forever home. We are located at Dusty Highway in Grenada, St. George. Sudden Electrical. Best value, expert advice, quality products. We hope to see you soon.
In our part of the world, we need to be prepared for natural disasters like storms and hurricanes, even outside of the season. I'm sure you'll agree that keeping our loved ones, homes, and businesses safe is important. So, I came up with a few quick tips to help you stay safe. First, make a family disaster plan and ensure that everyone in your household is familiar and comfortable with it. Remember to add batteries and flashlights to your emergency kit. Don't be caught off guard by natural disasters. Prepare now. For more information, visit grenlec.com.
Miss Faithlin's family drama continues with I Do by Urias Peters at Labucan Creative Center, Saturdays at 8 p.m., Sundays at 6